What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be taking a look at another case. This case has been picked up for an upcoming build that we're going to be doing. It's a bit of a retro build, so we wanted something that was subtle, sleek and really well built. And this case hit every single tick, so stay tuned and we'll take you through it. So this case is from Phanteks. It's the Phanteks P300 and it's not a bad case altogether. It's built extremely well, being that the only plastic on it is a couple of the vents and some of the trays that you put your hard drives in or some of your dust filter in. Including the front, which is quite unique, is steel. If you remove the front, which is really easy because they use a slightly different system to others, you'll see that it actually uses these little balls and they actually just fit straight into these plastic mounts, so it's really easy to take on and off. Which is a good thing because the ventilation on these isn't that good. You've got vents at the top and at the bottom, which do come with these little removable dust filters, which is actually a really good feature as well. So you can just remove them really quickly just to clean them. In the front as well, you'll find that you have these plastic removable trays, and these are for your hard drives. So you can either put in two 3.5-inch drives, which will actually fit in toolless, so you don't need any screws for that, or you will need to screw any of the 2.5 drives down with the screws provided. When you get these, you will get an extra box of accessories, which contains a couple of cable ties as well as some screws, which are actually in this mount here, which is how I actually found these in the first place, because I was looking for that box. In the front, you can fit a couple of 120mm fans, a 240mm radiator, or two 140mm fans, which again gives you good ventilation on the front, apart from the limitation on the actual vents. But adding the front and back to it is simply really simple by lining up the little balls and popping straight on like that. So that's really easy to remove and put back on. It's also cable free because none of the actual I/O ports are in the front. They actually reside on the top, just to the one side here, with the power button being in the middle, which means all the cables run straight from the top and down. Also on the top, you have a dust filter for a vent on the top, which you can mount either a 120mm or 140mm fan, so you've got some good ventilation on the top as well. Sticking that on there. The side has a glass window that's actually 3/4 down, but it doesn't actually have any of these little thumb sticks into the corners. What you do is you remove the thumb screws from the back like you do on normal sides of a case and slide the glass panel out, which is a really cool feature. Now the glass is tempered glass and it has the metal bracket on the side here, as well as a black trim all the way around so that you can hide the metal chassis from the case. And the glass has only got a slight tint on it, so it's not too bad. You're going to be able to see everything in your case really, really well. Inside the case, you've got some good options for what kind of motherboards you can fit in here. So it will take an ITX board, a micro ATX board, an ATX board, or an eATX board, so that's quite versatile. And your power supply lives in the basement under this shroud here. Now, there is no removable front because of your hard drives going in at the front down here. So you are limited in the radiators that you can fit at the front. You can't fit the 360, for argument's sake, into this case. There's no removable panel for it. But another cool feature is that, again, toolless, with thumb screws, you can slide this panel out in the back here to access your PCI slots, which you have 7 of, so it will fit perfectly fine for an ATX board. And each PCI slot, really, the little cover, is its own little tray, so there's no brackets in between, which means fitting one of those Phanteks vertical GPU risers is really simple. You don't have to make any cuts or anything to the case on this one. So obviously those pieces go together well, quite fine. They've really worked that out. From new, you do get supplied 120mm fan in the back, and that's pretty much all that can fit in there. You can't fit 140 in there, but it's enough to be supplied with what it's got. It's a shame it didn't come with any more for the front, but then price wise this case wasn't too expensive either. It was around about £50, and you can pick it up for that from pretty much any store. Obviously on the back it's pretty much straightforward. You've got your I/O socket where your fan goes, your 120mm fan, all of your PCI slots, as well as this little sliding bracket here, so there's no issues with being able to install things into this, as well as your PSU going at the bottom here. Now, because the PSU will vent out the bottom, because there's no vents into the top, you do get a slide out dust filter, which just comes on a piece like that. So that's really easy to slide in and out to be able to wash it. The other side comes off like any other case. Just undo these thumb screws and slide it back out, and it's quite well built. It's a thick steel, double rolled on all the edges, so there's nothing sharp. And you're not going to get much of a bend or anything in that kind of thing. It's quite well built. There is no extra indentation into this for cable management, but looking at the rest of the case, it's not going to be needed anyway. So in the back, there is quite a gap here for all your cable management, but they do provide a big channel at the front here with branded Phanteks Velcro strips to be able to hold everything in. If you look up there, you can actually see where the I/O ports from the top actually go into this, so there's no cabling on the front, which is pretty cool, as well as the cable for the fan at the back coming out there. There's extra holes here for mounting hard drives, so you can mount a hard drive up to there, or a 2.5-inch drive. So there's a maximum of, you can either put two 2.5-inch drives there and one there, or two 3.5s and then two 3.5s here if you take this bracket off. So for hard drive space, it's not looking too bad. There's plenty of space underneath here for cable management, because you don't really need to go into there for anything really. All in all, I'm really impressed with the case. It's super strong. It's one of the sleekest that we've actually had on the channel. I'm going to really enjoy building into this, and we're going to give it a really good go. So make sure that you subscribe to this channel if you want to see that build, because it is coming soon. We're just waiting for a few new parts. And once they come in, we're going to start doing our planning phase and start putting things together. And it's actually, because it's going to go into this case, you'll see this in action. Make sure you hit like on the channel if you like this video, and I'll see you again soon.